No, that'll be good here under action.
Got my son though, Shain.
Yeah.
And
And
Shain.
Steve Heiser had to cancel something.
People out there. I had it when I was 9.
All right, we're back in order here for the meeting, and we'll move on to our next public comment. Right off the bat, we have Shain Lloyd from Banterra Bank. Would you like to?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Shain with Banterra.
Come on up here a little bit.
I had spoken to Mr. Hayes a few weeks ago. Interest rates are still up, probably higher than they've been in 8 or 10 years. So I had approached him about if you have excess funds in the district, might be a good time to consider putting them into some type of account that earns interest. So the proposal he has there is for a money market account. It's a bank account. It has a exception rate that's pretty good for our current environment. And this particular account is a sweep account, so it's fully FDIC insured no matter how much you deposit into it. It has unlimited limits for FDIC insurance. So he had asked me if I would come to the board meeting, and if anyone had any questions about how this account works, with it being a sweep account, I'd be glad to answer any questions you have about it.
This is the first I've heard of the sweep account. It makes sense. Essentially, every bank only keeps up to $250,000 of whatever we invest, so that it's always federally insured, right?
Right. Okay. Kind of the way it works is there is a interfinancial network called Promontory, and the way it's a network of banks that are fully FDIC insured. All of these banks have to meet certain criteria as far as their size and their financial well-being. So if you deposit, for example, $500,000 into this type of account, we sweep out $250,000 to one of these other banks, and then they sweep in $250,000 of one of their customers' money to us. So technically the money never leaves, but on paper it's going through this sweep process, so it's all FDIC insured. I think page maybe 3 of one of those that I gave you, I don't know if that has it or not. That may not have it. Here's some more if you want to pass those down. Page 3 has the Illinois statute that shows where that's available through the statutes in Illinois for things like any municipality or public fund to be able to use.
And you said that at the current time, 1.75 is the interest rate.
Correct. Correct. Which is pretty good for a money market. It is a money market, which I'm sure most of you know, it's kind of like a cross between a savings and a checking. It's like a checking account because you can write checks, but it's also like a savings account because you earn a little more interest and you're limited to 6 transactions per month. But it is liquid. You can make a deposit on Monday and go back on Tuesday and take it all back out. As long as you don't exceed 6 transactions per statement cycle, the money's available at any time.
There's no early termination.
It's not like a CD where you're locked into a term and you have a penalty to withdraw it.
Okay.
So I can tell you we do have another school district that is a customer that did the same account, and they were able to hire another teacher. They're earning enough interest to pay an entire salary. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and we really, you've already appointed, I think, me as the investment officer for the year, but I just wanted to run it by you, and I did put it on the agenda. I think we're at a point now where we probably ought to start putting a little bit of our money to work for us. We haven't had enough until recently, again, to do that, but interest rates are a little better than what they have been. Right now, Jamie, we looked it up, was it 0.25 or 0.025 is what we're earning?
Checking or
Yeah.
0.25
0.25, so that's what we're getting right now.
on about.
And this year we get 1.75.
This opportunity be 1.75, and I can look around to see if there's any, other comparable. But I know Shain came to us and he talked to me about this one. that's not a bad rate.
Yeah, and you might be able to find a CD that's a little bit higher than that, probably nothing significant, but then you're kind of losing your liquidity in a CD. With this, it's not locked into anything, so if you need it, you can get it back out.
No penalty whatsoever.
Right.
And that's one of the key points of this one, or anything we do, I think we're going to have to keep it pretty liquid because you never know what the state of Illinois is going to do. They could just stop sending us checks like they have in the past. So we need to be able to get at whatever we do.
But I don't think we need to be just holding money with, basically nothing coming in.
Exactly.
Right. We'll leave that up to you.
So is this sort of a new concept, or this?
It's fairly new.
Yeah.
Banterra's been doing this for about 4 years. I think this process has been in place longer than that, but we've been doing it for about 4 years.
Okay.
Usually kind of the challenge for a public fund is you've got to be able to put your money somewhere, and banks only insure up to, or the FDIC only insures up to $250,000. So Massac Unit 1, I think, has 6 checking accounts that average around $500,000. So we are pledging securities, kind of like collateral, to cover those. Because you all have, somebody like Kathy, who's the treasurer, she has to constantly be concerned about whether there are enough pledges to cover that money. But with this, you don't have to worry about that because it's fully insured.
Sounds good to me.
That's a plus.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming to explain a little
Yes,
bit.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
If you have any questions, just give me a call.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
We'll wait Tina.
Okay,
You got some public comment.
yeah, public comment, Mr. Atkinson.
Do I have to stand up or can I sit down here?
Sit down.
You can say that if you want, it's whatever you want to do.
I come to you today because I want to talk about Section 504 in Massac County. Now recently it's come to my attention that there is probably 30% of the kids at MES that would fall under the Section 504. When I got involved in it, I come and spoke to the superintendent, I spoke to the principal of the school, and we decided we didn't need a 504, we just needed to have a little bit better communication. But I'm proactive. I'm interested in my kids and my grandkids. My kids are grown, but now it's my grandkids. When I went to the parent-teacher conference, I was saddened by the state of our education system in Metropolis. I can't believe we're no longer teaching math, spelling, or writing in school. I don't know what we are teaching. A 6th grade teacher told me that as long as they got the gist of the word autocorrect, would take care of spelling for them. Well, where I come from, you were supposed to spell. These young ladies in the back, they're 18 and 20, they were told how to spell in school. So in Massac County, we're now teaching our kids not to spell? We're just using autocorrect? If that's the case, we're in trouble, because the kids today are going to be our leaders of the future. Talking about 504, if the principal couldn't tell me how many kids, but I called 10 parents and grandparents. 4 of the 10 said their kids suffer from ADD or ADHD. There's nobody at MES right now helping them children. They're on their own. They don't have a counselor. They don't have an advocate. So what is the plan that Massac County has for children that fall under the 504 section? Because if it's just let them go, that's not a very good plan. If it's just we don't care, that's not a very good plan. So my question to you as a board, I'm sure you're all good people, what is the plan that Massac County has for children with ADHD and ADD? What are we doing for them? Because just letting them go and letting autocorrect go, that is not a proper way to educate anybody. I don't know when we quit teaching cursive writing. I don't know when we quit teaching spelling.
My children do a spelling test every week.
Yeah,
They
but
brought home spelling words this morning. We'll study them every single day. They'll take a spelling test on Friday.
What-
If they handwrite them and they get them wrong, then they are marked wrong. They do not get to autocorrect. They also learn cursive writing and they bring home math papers every day.
Where did your kids go to school? ma'am?
Franklin in Massac County.
Okay, so my kids go to Metropolis Elementary School, so you're telling me that the schools are teaching different curriculums?
Now, we have spelling
you're-
at MES.
I would doubt that
Yeah.
very seriously.
I think we're all
Yeah,
I mean-
we have a graded spelling at MES.
Okay, well, a 6th grade teacher at MES told me that as long as they got the gist of it, that they had autocorrect. That's not teaching spelling, and apparently we don't teach spelling after 6th grade. So then you're just on your own. But I am interested in the fact that Miss Larison said that at Franklin they teach cursive writing.
Miss Mitchell does a lesson, or her in 3rd grade at Franklin School, they do a lesson in cursive writing. And I mean, I don't know that it's a mandatory lesson. I don't know that it's mandatory for them to use it after that. I will say that I do not write in cursive. I print, because I print neater than I write. I sign my name with a signature, and that seems to serve me well.
Is that we're dumbing down our children. When I called Springfield and talked to them, they was concerned about Chicago. I really don't care about Chicago. When I talked to Mr. Hayes, he said that he's mandated to teach poor math, poor reading, and poor writing because of the state of Illinois.
I didn't say poor reading, poor math, or poor writing.
Well,
That's your interpretation.
That's my
what it is.
interpretation.
We're mandated to teach what the state tells us.
correct, which is poor math. If
Poor
you're
math
saying,
is actually an incredibly useful tool
To
if you
who?
know how to use it.
okay, I don't know how to use it because if the question says 25 from 100 is closest to what? 80, 75, 50, or 20, and the answer is 80, that's poor math. Because the answer is actually 75. But I'm not going to debate that issue with you. What my concern is, what does this school board do for kids with ADHD and ADD? Do you have a 504 plan? Because you're mandated to have one. And then are you telling the other kids about it?
We're not mandated to have one unless they request testing for a 504, similar to an IEP.
Well, based upon the information I got from the state of Illinois and from the people that would talk to me in Washington, it says that every school is supposed to have a 504 plan online that you'll be able to present to
A
somebody.
504 plan would be for each individual student, so I mean, it's not like a district-wide plan.
Well, you're supposed to have one though. The district is supposed to have one. And then it's broke down to an individual student and whether it will work with that kid or not. But you're supposed to have a 504 plan for the district. And my question is, I know you all went to all these classes about open meeting, but is this how we're going to teach our kids? Do you think this is proper that we use autocorrect instead of learning how to spell? That
Well,
will
a
get close to
504 plan
80.
would give them an accommodation or a modification to their learning experience. An autocorrect would be an accommodation or a modification to their learning experience.
Are you serious?
We can talk about this again, Mr. Atkins, if you'd like, but I think there's a lot more to it.
I just want to know, is this school board right here, are you okay with the way we're teaching our kids? With you people, I know a few of you, do you think it's proper that we no longer teach our kids cursive writing? Now I know every one of you all went to school and was taught cursive writing. You all did the Pledge of Allegiance. You all was made to spell words. You didn't count on autocorrect because back in the 70s they didn't have autocorrect. You was made to do math. There wasn't no get close to. It was the correct answer. Now, are we we're talking about how bad the United States is going. What are we going to be 10 years from now? Every one of you up there, except for maybe Lisa, remember what Metropolis was like in the 70s. It was a great town to raise your kids. It's not today. And it's not going to get no better 10 years from today if we're teaching our kids, we're dumbing them down. We're saying, hey, just get close. If you can just get close to the word, autocorrect will tell you what you want. If you can just get close to the number, then we'll count it all right. Getting close don't work in the real world. And that's why the United States is so far down in education. It's because all we're doing is trying to get close. How about we teach actual reading, writing, and arithmetic, the very core of what school was supposed to be. Now you all are elected officials for Massac County to do the best for our kids. If Miss Larison's kids are getting taught cursive writing at Franklin, then my daughter's kids should be taught cursive writing at MES. Now I'm sure you all would agree with that.
Yep.
Now, I understand they have a curriculum they have to go by. I know in 2 counties in Kentucky, they send home an email to the parents that has it all right, we teach your kids correct cursive writing. Yeah, most of us write better, but you should know how to write. You should know how to add and subtract. If nothing else, for your money. I mean, if I give you $10 and you give me back 4 ones and 2 quarters, and you say, well, that's close to $10. If I ain't smart enough to know that you cheat me, then where are we going? But as I said, there's 2 different situations here. One, I want to know what you're doing for the kids. That's grandparents ain't out there making sure that their kids are doing good in school. I just hired a tutor. I went and talked to the teachers. I talked to the principal. But there is a whole bunch of kids out there whose parents are not as assertive as I am, and they just let their kids go to school. And they put them in after-school programs, and they do as little as they can because they don't want to be bothered with their kids. These kids are our future leaders. And it's up to you folks to make sure they get the proper education, or at least have an opportunity to get the proper education. You can't make them learn. But I'm seriously concerned about the state of education in Metropolis, Illinois, if we're saying this is okay. I don't take it personally, none of you all. I know it ain't your fault. It's probably something you've been banging the gavel. But if you'll let me, I'll go to Washington. I'm not afraid of any of them. I'm not an elected official. I am nobody important. But I know a lot of people. I know how to go up there and get in their face. I fought against Honeywell for years. So if you need something, you tell me what you need. I'll go get it for you. If you got plenty of money, hire somebody to tutor these kids or to help the kids with the 504 issue so they can get the proper education. We don't want teacher strikes. We don't want our teachers understaffed. We don't want them with not enough people. Mr. Hayes up there has got to deal with people like me when they come up here screaming, because we find out after the fact. After the fact. 5 weeks into school, I found out my grandson went from an A student to an F student. Now he's back to an A student. Because I got him a tutor, I went and talked to his teachers, I went and talked to the principal. But some parents won't, and they don't. And it's the school board's responsibility to make sure that they got the education there. The teachers are properly trained. The guidance counselors are properly trained about what 504 is and how it works. It's different than an IEP. And I'll quit, but I'm going to come back. I'll see y'all next month, and the month after, and the month after, because I'm going to fight for my grandkids. And for all them kids that nobody's parents will fight for. Because I got nothing better to do. All I'm doing is waiting to die. So, I'll be sitting right here. But you all need to think about it, and I hope the next time when I come back, you can at least give me a piece of paper showing me what Massac County's 504 plan is. Because parents need to know that they got a plan out there. They got somebody. You people are here to help them. And I thank you for your time. And like I said, it's not personal against any of you folks, because I know you're all good people, but it is a serious problem. And you got to remember, if we don't teach them now, 20 years from now, they're going to be like these young ladies. They're going to be running for public office, and if they can't make change, they can't spell, and they can't write, we're going to be worse off than we are right now, and that's pretty bad.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
You might have another, I don't know.
We have another, anybody else needs to step up and talk? Okay, Union, do you have anything? Okay. Let's go to consider approval of minutes, bills, dues, and payable, and treasurer's report.
Okay, Jamie's here if you have any questions. This was the quarterly report, so there's a lot of extra information in there. Overall expenditures are right in line with last year. If you remember, they're higher than August because that's September is the month where all of the raises for the new year kick in on our certified, non-certified staff that aren't 12 months. So it's higher than August, partly for that, and then also it's usually when a lot of our bills for the resources for the start of the year come in. So it's still pretty much in line with last year.
Are we starting to get much of our tax?
Oh yeah, we did. It's not on September. That's a good point. That goes on. The tax money that you got will be in October, correct?
Yes, we got it.
Oh, is it
Check run is
3 million something?
over 3 million.
Yeah.
So we have got,
Yeah, and last year we did get that, I checked, we did get that in September. So if you look at our cash balance, it'll look a little different. I've got that on my report, but it came in just after the month changed, I think, this time.
So we had a chance to look at them. Any discussion over it? I need a motion to accept the minutes, bills and the treasury report.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger. Mr. Cook.
yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Pass one down.
Mr. Sanders.
Yes.
Michelle needs
Okay,
one.
we'll move on down to the superintendent's report.
Yeah, the screen's not working for me, so I apologize out there. I think it's updated. But I do have handouts. Here's another one if anybody wants to follow along. Miss Porter, would you like to follow along for your class? It's up to you.
Yes,
Here.
Thank you.
Here's another one if anyone else would like them. There's a couple.
We'll need another one over here.
Okay. Just to start off, the expenditures part of the treasurer's report, we had a total of $1.9 million for September. I looked last year, it was $1.9 million something as well for September. That's up from $1.5 million, almost $1.6 million in August. If you look at our cash balance on the next page, we're right over $4 million, and you'll notice that's lower than last September because we did have our first property tax check in last September. So that'll actually jump back up, and October will be higher than last year for our cash balance. And then the revenues versus expenditures, September is always backwards because we spend more than we take in unless we get that property tax. If we added that property tax, it'd be different. But that'll look a little different in October. I'm just pointing that out. For the financial profile, I sent this out when we got this back on our draft audit. But they look at the fund balance to revenue ratio, the expenditures to revenue, the days of cash on hand, the short-term and long-term debt. And this year, we're going to have a 3.90 financial profile score. On the page with the chart, you can see our trends. That 3.9 is as high as we've ever been, as far back as I could go. And that's basically because our days cash on hand. I did calculate what it would take to get to a 4.0, and we would have to have another 3,500,000 or so in the bank to get to that 180 days cash on hand. So I don't think that'll happen, but that's basically as high as we can go on the financial profile without having that extra 3 million in the bank. And again, that's important because we live in Illinois.
So now we got what, about 100 days?
Yeah, it was. I can't remember off the top of my head. We do have the audit, and I'll give you one up there. We got the big black books for you.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
But it was 100 and just over 100 days. Yeah, 100 and, might be 117, something like that. Is what the days.
Better than we was a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah. This is what Miss Steele, I was mentioning to you on the way down. Our learning walk data is the next slide. So our principals thus far have been in 202 classrooms recording or documenting what they're seeing. That's for this year. And you can kind of see where that's happening at. So we are tracking it by building. And then as far as the goal for reading, I've got all of the star reading from our most recent benchmark in there. We just gave that the last 2 weeks, and so you can see from the first benchmark to the second benchmark, we look for improvement. I don't have kindergarten in here yet because we're using Dibbles. Sorry, Kinder, but I'll have that next time. This is just the star reading data. But the overall, second grade really improved a lot. All of them went up. You'll notice that the percentage goes down the higher grade level you go because it's harder to keep up with the grade level reading. So at or above means at or above grade level. That's what the green is for. Our goal is to obviously get more of them at or above for the reading levels. I tabulated them all together on that last red, yellow, blue, and green chart. So we have a goal set by Illinois State Board of Education, and they set theirs at 90%. We're trying to get as many as we can, K through third. Again, I didn't have kindergarten data, so this is just first through third. But 80% of our students are reading at or above grade level in first through third right now as of last week. 61% are reading at or above grade level at 4th through 6th, with 18 on watch, and then 7th and 8th, 55%. So that's where we stand right now, which is a little bit ahead, I believe, of last year. So you can see progress towards our goal. And again, a lot of that's from our increased RTI services that we've put into place, and then our regular teachers working with the RTI teachers. Does anybody have any questions on the reading data? I know that's one of our big goals. Okay. On the facility updates, I sent around the survey to the staff, K through 6 staff, that the architect put out. This is all part of the planning phase, steps that we're trying to take so that we'll be able to apply for a building grant if and when it is released. So our goal there is just to be ready to apply if they release those fundings opportunities. There's still several steps we have to take in order to get there. The target date is to be ready by March because they are stated they might release the funds or the RFP in March. The HVAC at Brookport and junior high, those are the big ticket items that we worked on over the summer. We're almost done. They came up with a couple more issues and they're still working on, but we're almost finished with both of those. They appear to be working better. They can actually control the heating in there now. But on the downside, we're starting to have computer issues at MES, which all 3 schools were built almost at the same time, so it kind of makes sense. I'm gathering some information on that one, on what we need to do for that one.
As far as computer, we mean network.
The central,
bandwidth.
the central control computer is outdated. There is a firmware and software upgrade, and it's costly. Essentially, it's the same thing that we did at Brookport and junior high, except on Brookport and junior high, we discarded the proprietary system and went with a universal computer control system that any HVAC person could use and operate. The one at MES is still proprietary, and I can't remember the name of the system. You would know.
Johnson Control.
No, it could be. I wanted to say it was one of the others. But the guy comes from Mayfield and he's in Memphis all the time. He's the closest guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're looking at what it would cost to upgrade and stay proprietary versus what the cost for upgrade to universal. Typically, it's about twice as high for the universal upgrade. But then that would get us away from the proprietary.
Yeah, get away
In the
from
long
that
run,
in the
what
long
takes
run.
Probably would be, but it's something you have to weigh. Because that's going to be more costly than junior high or Brookport because it's so much bigger, so many more units, so many more valves. Unity Lagoon, the repairs are ready. They're waiting on the weather to break, so that's all set to go. The contractor finally caught up to our work at the Franklin parking lot. He went out there last week before the rain, the most recent rain. That was still too wet. You can see where he kind of scratched the dirt up a little bit. Now I'm not sure. He was going to wait a little while. He said it was just too soggy. Jeff called me himself. He said he was surprised, but you'll see they did try to start and then he had to stop. So that's that. AC coil at Jefferson Computer Lab was replaced. We had talked about that the last meeting. It's in, I think everything's working there for now. The modular company did install a unit at that modular building at Unity. We were having moisture problems with that. They came in and redid the AC there on their dime since we rent that one, and it seems to be fixed, although it did turn cool after that, so that may be something we revisit. Our maintenance guys negotiated some pricing for LED light bulbs that have the driver built in, so they're a little higher, but that allows us to do away with the what's it called?
Ballast.
The ballast and the old light fixtures. We're looking at Brookport MES and junior high gym lights because those are the three biggest electric bills we have, and those are the energy hogs at those buildings. If we can replace all those, a lot of the lights that still burn can be used at the other buildings until we look at some of those. But we're able to get, if we buy them all at once, we're able to get $40 off a light bulb, which is pretty good. That's for 90 light bulbs.
90?
So we're still looking at a sizable bill, but from talking to Max Russell, you're still money ahead to go ahead and change those out rather than to just change them as they burn out, because they use so much less electricity and supposedly last a lot longer. I don't know that anyone really knows for sure yet, but they're supposed to be rated for so many more thousands of hours. I don't know.
Still out there, I think.
I'm questioning that one too.
Where are we at in MES in that building? Did we get that fixed?
No, it's in the health, life, safety.
Okay.
And I think the last time I talked to Mike, he was waiting on the building grants to come out, building maintenance grants, which is separate, but probably coming out at the same time as the other capital bill. And then he was going to apply for that, along with health, life, safety.
What, to take that other one down? You talking about the one down?
The
Yeah,
white
it's got-
building.
Broke off.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's actually held up pretty good. We were worried about it initially a lot more than we are now. 'Cause it's,
No.
yeah, we'll see.
So is any of these, changing these lights, what we got for the high school there a few years ago,
Mhm.
that was a,
That was a whole new.
Grant.
That was a whole new fixture. Yeah, and that was a grant.
that was a grant.
Mhm.
None of those are out there and available for.
We can look at that.
I just,
We could look at that. Last time I checked, they only get so much a year, and they had already pledged. That was through the city. It would be different for Brookport.
yeah.
But through the city,
But
we have
don't,
to
yeah,
go through.
Brookport's, they're on Ameren, so and there's some Ameren
Well, actually, we
monies out there.
switched to AEP, I think, is what we buy ours from now. Through the Ameren lines.
Through the Ameren lines.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's something similar for them
For
too.
some of them, so some monies for some of there's a lot of, monies and on, if you're with the right suppliers,
Yeah, some
on
of
some of
that.
this LED stuff,
Some of that requires the
co-op
fixtures.
is, oh yeah, you gotta redo the whole
Yeah.
fixture, and that's more, you gotta have that grant, cause you can't just go up there and screw a new bulb
Right.
in.
These here, we will be able to.
These here, you just
Yeah, they've got the driver.
wire around the ballast and you
Right.
just screw it in,
Yeah,
screw a new bulb in.
and they're supposed to be brighter and 1/3
Oh yeah.
the electric usage. So I don't know. Something that we're definitely looking at trying to reduce. Our electricity costs have been pretty high, especially the town schools. We're still averaging over $20,000 a month for high school. That's a heavy duty electric bill. I just added some technology additions. We did get these ordered. We talked about them before. So we ordered a Chromebook cart for Franklin and Unity, an additional to help with testing, assessment, and student learning. We've got 70 student calculators for high school and junior high. Those are the scientific graphing calculators. We ordered a new charging station for Jefferson because we already put some additional Chromebooks in there that didn't have a cart. And then we've got 2 3D printers coming because we're a little behind on that technology. So all that was paid for by the grants, and that's not Title I yet, so I'm still waiting on Title I to be approved, and we'll have a few
3D
more.
printers are amazing. The 3D printers are amazing.
Yeah, I've
They are.
never used one.
No.
They
My
say
son's got one.
I've just seen them in there. Pretty amazing.
you guys probably have them at the college.
I
Huh?
think, yeah, some kind, yeah.
And then kind of answers Mr. Atkinson's question. There's another grant opportunity for a potential another RTI position that we would like to put in place at MES to assist the other RTI teacher. And that's from the Title I School Improvement Plan that you guys approved last time. That allowed me to work up the grant for this one, so I've been working on that one. It's $30,000 for each school, and I believe we can combine and add some together. And I think the need is at junior high. I've talked to Mr. Conkle about it, so we would like to try to get that rolling. And that will.
You did MES.
All right, MES, yeah, sorry, MES. And that way, we'd have somebody to work with. Our primary target for Crystal Smith was K through 3. This would hopefully allow for some 4, 5, 6 RTI services, so that'll help. And then just wanted to mention briefly, Michelle wrote an article in the paper about it for me. We talked about the summative designations, but the school summative designations are coming out Wednesday, and that's when they release how well we did based on last year's results. So that includes the biggest portion of it is student growth on the state testing, but also student proficiency is part of it. Chronic absenteeism is part of it, so you lose points for having absent students. The climate survey is part of it. So all of that will be added together, and those summative designations will be released Wednesday. I was going to talk to Michelle to see if we can go ahead and work up a story for Thursday, because we want to brag on our schools. Can't tell you why yet, but because it's under embargo, but we would like to get something in the paper about our designations. So I'll be working with Michelle on that one, but very proud of what our teachers have done, especially some of the improvements over last year. So that should be a good article. And the last part is just about the November dates. And I do have, just for future reference on there, for your consideration, to change the regular meeting date next month to a week before, which gets it away from the week of Thanksgiving. That's also a day that the auditor can come, Jeff Schroeder can come and talk about the audit. I figured you'd want to hear from him again, so I didn't put the approval of the audit on this agenda. That would be for the November 18th if you choose to move the date to that. So that's why that's there. And that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, I guess we'll move right on next to the unfinished businesses, operations and maintenance, and HL options for the future.
Yeah, that one you're going to just have to, we've just been tabling that one until we get some more from the architect. I'm still waiting on that one. Unless you just want to get rid of it until it does get work.
We'll just table, we need to vote on that?
No, I think
Okay,
we
we'll
can
just table that
It's
again.
been tabled, or you've already done it.
Okay. Let's see, new business for the consideration of the healthcare renewal.
Yeah, I went over the renewal and the proposal and all that, and we got that implemented. I just never had you officially approve it. So we should have done that last month, actually. That's my fault. We're still with Blue Cross Blue Shield. They gave us a pretty decent renewal. Nothing really changed, other than the prices went up a little bit like they always do.
Okay. Consideration and adding of Edward Jones as.
Well, you need to get a motion on
I'll
that.
make a
Okay,
motion that
we have a
we-
motion. A second?
Yeah.
Any more discussion on that? Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Ms. Larison.
Yes.
Ms. Rushing.
Yes.
Mr. Summer.
Yes.
Ms. Steele.
Yes.
Mr. Souders.
Yes. Next one is the consideration of adding Edward Jones as an eligible advisor for the staff with the 403B plan.
Yeah, that one, if I can explain real quick, we had some staff members request that. And so the guy that works with some of our staff members for investment planning from Edward Jones came and met with Jamie and I and asked if we would add him to the plan. That doesn't take anything away from our current vendor for the 403B plan. That just authorizes him to be able to talk to his clients about their 403B, which he cannot do now because the only advisor that we have is through Metro Financial. So it doesn't steal any of their business, it just allows him to talk to his clients that he's already talking to about their plans they have with us.
Do I need a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion on that? Lisa, roll call please.
Mr. Berger,
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Ms. Larison,
Yes.
Ms. Rushing,
Yes.
Mr. Summer,
Yes.
Ms. Steele,
Yes.
Mr. Souders.
Yes. Consideration, I need a motion to consider the November regular board meeting changed to Monday, November the 18th, 2019.
I'll make the motion to move it.
Okay, do I have a second? Have a second? Any more discussion?
You might want to include it at the regular time, I didn't put that on there, but
Okay,
It
well,
would be at
at the
6:30.
regular time. Lisa, roll call please.
Mr. Berger, Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Ms. Larison,
Yes.
Ms. Rushing,
Yes.
Mr. Summer,
Yes.
Ms. Steele,
Yes.
Mr. Souders.
Yes. Need a motion to consider the new investment opportunities.
yeah, if you would make a motion to allow me to take some of the money out of our account and put into, I'll do some research first and let you know what we found, but I think Shain Lloyd has a pretty good opportunity. We can check with the other local bank if you'd like. I know you're supposed to kind of keep it even, but I think that's a good move.
I think it'd be a good
I
move.
think you need to move as much as you feel comfortable with, so we get a chance to get interest for money we get as much as we can possibly make.
I understand that.
Okay.
Because that's, any money we make on interest is tax relief somewhere else.
Need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Have a second also. Any more discussion on that? Lisa, roll call please.
Mr. Berger,
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Ms. Larison,
Yes.
Ms. Rushing,
Yes.
Mr. Summer,
Yes.
Ms. Steele,
Yes.
Mr. Souders.
Yes. This is the first reading and consideration of policies 2.20, 2.110, 2.140, 2.140E, 2.170 AP, 2.30, 2.250E, 4.20, 4.30, 4.40 AP, 4.45 AP1, 4.60E, 4.100, 4.110, 4.110 API1, 410, 110 AP3, 4.11 OE, 4.150, 4.190, 4.190 AP1, 4.190 AP2, 4.190 AP2-E1-E6, 5.30 AP1, 5.180, 5.250, 5.330, 6.15, 6.40, 6.120 AP2, 6.185, 6.340, 7.190 AP3, 7.240 AP2, 7.250 AP1, and 7.280 E2, and 8.25 AP. It's the first reading of the consideration of these policies.
Can you repeat that?
I can. I need a motion to accept the first reading.
No, you don't need the motion, we'll need it next time.
Next minute, okay. All right,
And
well,
I've got hard copies of all those upstairs, whoever wants them, I've emailed them to you.
Yeah.
Mr. Clark, I just emailed those to you, so you'll have those. And then we'll come back and revisit those next month.
all right. Need a consideration for meeting location for future meetings.
And this is something we've talked about, I know Ms. Rushing's asked me about several times. This building is not very well equipped for these meetings, so I think the recommendation is to either alternate or at least I think you still want to keep it centrally located. I don't know that it makes sense to have meetings at Jefferson. I don't know what your preference is, but, and to move the buildings, or move the meetings into a building that's more equipped, I think is the idea.
Right.
So what
Being,
about the high school, like the cafeteria or
High school would definitely work.
library?
Yeah, Metropolis Elementary would definitely work. I think you could do whatever. I just, you know, if we want to make it as accessible as possible, I think kind of the big three would be the big ones: MES, MCHS, and MJHS. Those would be all very easy to get to for everybody. And I have no preference, whatever you guys want to do.
My question is like, if we move it to one of these three locations, if we have other activities, do we have, like the high school, say they got a ball game or something, we have in excess of the library or the kitchen or the dining area, and then of course for the executive, we could go into the office.
There's a couple office areas.
There's a couple of office areas we can go for that. Now MES, does it have other areas that we could go to if there's activities going on?
It does.
It's got a library.
And
with the high school library, I mean,
It's pretty big.
yeah, I think it would be sufficient. And we could always do the cafeteria if we have a larger crowd. I think any of those three would work. Technically, for the regular meetings, unless you just want to vote on it every time, you probably ought to set one location, because you're kind of supposed to have a location, and then you could always, if something's going on, we could, you know, make a motion and relocate to one of the other two schools or something. It would probably be easier for public participation if you set one location.
set one location. Well, the high school would be,
Probably more opportunities there than anywhere, because it's the
Yeah.
largest school.
More parking available and stuff like that.
And except for during tournament times and stuff.
That's true.
See, how much extra time involvement would there be, like on your maintenance staff or your custodial staff, if you did it if you held it in the library? Just setting up, 50 additional chairs.
There's already chairs in there. I think it seats 45. So, and the high school is big enough to where they can always just alternate their schedule of cleaning, so it wouldn't really have that big an impact. Now, some of the smaller schools, they don't have the ability to do as much of that. But since there's 3 night custodians, it shouldn't be a problem at the high school.
Okay.
That would probably be the easiest, less impact.
Yeah, probably the library. The acoustics are better.
A little better. You could secure it. Well, I was maybe more secure, but it'd be just a little more enclosed. It'd just be, wouldn't be probably quite as much mobility of traffic in and out through there possibly. Readily available for everyone to access.
Yeah, we just have to communicate to them. But if it was a regularly scheduled meeting, and that's what you set it for, should be easy to kind of plan around anything that way,
Once a month,
Mm-hmm.
Fourth Monday of each month.
The only time I know they use it, Aaron, you can remind me if I'm forgetting something, about the elective course selection nights they use it, and that's about the only thing I can think of, unless there's any.
I mean, like, Scholar Bowl was tonight. I don't know what time those things get over.
Yeah, Scholar Bowl would be one. I'm not thinking about Scholar Bowl.
Scholar Bowl got over about 5:15.
There you go.
You already know.
Yeah, most of the time
Okay.
I think they do get over pretty early, don't they?
So we'll make a motion to do this at the high school.
Starting next month,
Sure. Whatever you guys want.
high school library, I move.
Have a second? We have a second. Any more discussion over it? Lisa, roll call please.
Mr. Bruger,
Yes.
Mr. Cook,
Yes.
Ms. Larison,
Yes.
Ms. Roaching,
Yes.
Mr. Summer,
Yes.
Ms. Steele,
Yes.
Mr. Savers.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move over to what we discussed in the executive session.
Been coming down here
Yeah.
for a lot of years.
We're going to go with the resignations of Kim Dillard, the MCHS nurse. She put in a 2 weeks notice, so we need a motion to accept her resignation.
I'll make the motion to accept Lloyd's resignation.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any more discussion? Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes. On retirement, we have John Tabor, effective immediately, and Vernon Case, effective as of December the 31st of 2019. Now, do I need to do both of them separate?
I think you can do those together, can't you, Lisa? Since they're both retired.
Okay.
Yes.
Need a motion to accept both retirement.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll say.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay, any more discussion? Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes. Okay, on new employment, this is, who?
Jonathan.
Jonathan, okay. New employment, we're gonna do, Jonathan Kendall, MCHS night custodian, formerly Mr. Tabor's.
I'll make
So,
the motion that we hire him.
okay, we got a motion, we got a second, any more discussion? Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes. Okay, next motion is for the new employment, is for, Jeff Cam, is that right?
SEMA.
SEMA, okay, Jeff SEMA, MSHS Assistant Football Coach, Brian Hankins, MCHS Assistant Football Coach, John Hoverkamp, MCHS Assistant Football Coach, and Cord Cook, MCHS Assistant Football Coach, and one more, Calvin Morse, for MCHS Assistant Baseball.
And most of those football or split stipend positions from people that have been working with the team all year. We just never hired them officially, and we haven't paid them anything. So
Do I have to abstain on that since Court's one of them?
It is a
On all of them?
split stipend.
We're gonna do them separate? Just abstain from all of them?
It's up to you. I don't know exactly how it's all split up right now. I can get that information, but I know we're not adding. I just want to make a point. We're not adding new.
We're not adding new coaches.
We're not
No
adding
adding
new
no new money. It's
Right.
just, you know.
The
more out
football
on the field.
coaching staff tends to like to split those up to get more bodies
Uh-huh.
because it's a numbers game. So,
Okay, I need a motion to accept these.
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
On this one, I'm going to abstain just because my nephew is one of them, and you know I think they'll all do a fine job, but I will abstain on this vote.
Okay.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes. Okay, position transfer is to add on Mary Carroll from MES. In 2 weeks, she'll be taking over for Kim Dillard's spot.
you won't need a motion for that.
Okay, won't need a motion. She'll be transferring over to that.
Assuming she doesn't change her mind.
Okay, on the other personnel items, we have Jamie Mitchell's salary. This is to raise to in line with the bookkeeper's salary. That she's been doing this since Debbie's been gone, so I need a motion to increase that salary.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
We have a
second.
motion, we have a second. Any more discussion?
Thank you, Jamie. Did a good job.
Thank you for your hard work.
Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Abstain.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Sowers?
Yes. Okay, we're going down to student B expulsion hearing. This is, student will be, in case you want to explain that right quick for
Yeah,
everybody.
he's up for expulsion for the rest of the year, and was given the option to pursue homeschooling if they choose. Having returned to school in August 2020.
Okay, we're
Do we do the abeyance?
In advance, yeah.
in advance.
For homeschool?
Yes.
It's for homeschool, okay.
Either option they choose. You're technically going to be expulsion eligible until next year.
I need a motion to accept this.
I make that motion.
I need a second. Any more discussion on it? Lisa, roll call, please.
Mr. Berger? Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele? Mr. Savage?
Yes. Any more?
I wanted to say something. We need to congratulate the 3 ladies that went to state for the golf team.
And I wanted to mention, we accepted Vern Case's retirement. I've given him a hard time all these years, but he has been a benefit to the district.
He did a lot for the district.
He's
Fixed a lot of things that
he's a worker.
otherwise maybe wouldn't have been,
He will be missed. So just wanted to say that.
And I'd like to say one other thing. I like our football team, even though they've just won one game, they've scored more points this year than we've had a long time. I've been on the sidelines some, kind of in there, and the attitude seems to be getting better. I think our coach and all the assistant coaches that we have had there all year long for their work and their effort with these young men and the
numbers were up this year.
The numbers were up this year. And,
Yeah,
I hope we just keep building on this, but I'd like to congratulate the football team and the coach and coaches for all their hard work and dedication.
Absolutely.
With that said, is there a motion to dismiss? We have a move, we have a second. We have a second, any more discussion? Lisa, roll call please.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Ms. Larison?
Yes.
Ms. Rushing?
Yes.
Mr. Summer?
Yes.
Ms. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Savage?
Yes. Thank you all very much in public, thank you.